Hello, 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 and welcome to another one line of code. I am One Lion, and as you can see, I did not get my haircut today, unless... Oh my gosh. So I see Dukasoft in chat saying hello. Hello, Dukasoft. I hope you're here today. Otherwise, this recording would be really awkward. Hello, Napalm. Who else? Hello, Scott. Hello. I'm kidding. This is not a recording. I became you indeed were actually first because Dukasoft was first before the stream even started. So yeah, doesn't count. Doesn't count. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh goodness. Bot's broken. We left the bot in a bad state on Friday. So let's go to that real quick and fix it up. But anyway, hi, how are you? Today is Monday, the start of another fantastic week. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I, of course, had a lot of stuff that's going on before the Papa disqualified. I object. Dad joke, my seasickness comes in waves. But hi, Crapteen. Hi, Big Gamey. An amazing Bit Gamey in the chat today. If you don't know if you don't know Bit Gamey, you should definitely check him out. He is worth the follow, worth your time to watch his stream, or at least lurk on, just hanging out with him. Here is a clip of what you might expect from Bit Gamey's stream, where he might be a baby.
So somebody has...
He's not a baby.
Wait, what just happened?
You look confused.
Wait, what? What? Did you press the wrong button?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What? What? Sint! Sint!
No idea what was going on there, but as you could see, he is an amazing looking person, gentleman, if I do say so myself. Very handsome, very dashing. Oh yeah, 50 gift subs. I remember that one. Did you push the wrong button? Did you mean to push 5? Did you mean to push 0? 50 watts? Yeah, that one definitely belongs on your shout out clip reel. I mean on your clips, so that it can get shouted out for real. So Big Gamey often streams on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. No guarantees though. If he happens to not be up to streaming or is busy, then don't expect to stream. But a lot of times he will be streaming on Monday, Wednesday, Friday in about 2 hours from now. Little under 2 hours from now. If he's streaming today, for example. For real. Do you get it? Real. Today I am, unless I'm not. See? And you, hopefully you don't feel any pressure from me at least to stream. I do ask because again, I enjoy your streams and like hanging out with you, but I understand if you're not able to or just don't feel up to streaming. Yeah. Okay. So I left the bot in a bad way and I gave an initializer to my struct position time line 7 right here, line 7. Wait. I fixed the initializer. We no longer have an initializer. What I ended up doing was setting the default value to value 0, in flight 0. All right. Grab yourself your coffee or tea or whatever that happens to be. I hate not streaming, but sometimes life. Definitely understand that. Like today, for example, I am still working through an issue with a feature that I implemented that is causing some heartburn. maybe I can poll the audience. So if any of you have information and or actual references, opinions are welcome, but in this case, it would be really nice if you could point me somewhere for how applications should behave that have an external login. What do I mean by that? So, you know how some desktop applications have a way for you to sign in? When you that way, when you click on it, it opens your browser, presents you with federated sign-in or whatever kind of login stuff you have there. You click on your login credentials, and then it takes you to another page that says you are successfully logged in. You can now close this and return to the app. Does it automatically bring the app to the foreground that you were trying to sign into? I mean, that would be the nice thing. That's what I was trying to do. Does it have a button that says you've been successfully logged in? You can close this tab and return to the application, instructing the user with a nice little just you can close this tab and return to the application. Does it have a link to be able to close the tab? And if so, does that link actually work? Because for me, we have a custom protocol. And so what I would do is, for example, let's say I had the link on here. That was "you are successful." We'll put it in, actually, I'll navigate to it. Main content. Okay, we'll put it here. That's a lot of questions. You should fill out form 44375 and await your answer. I know. So I was giving that as an example. What is the expected behavior for, I'm running some desktop application, I click login, and it uses the browser to complete the authentication process. One of my teammates was using ChatGPT to help them answer, and they said that ChatGPT returned a response that Microsoft recommends that developers do not try to have the application steal the focus. Instead, do something else like make the icon flash in the taskbar or have a notice to the user, and only that. And I want to tell you what's happening in our app. I've got no idea how it works, but they look cool. Right. Let's see. Login status message. We will have a login. Oh, a H. Let's just do a H1. H1. Login successful. And of course, you have to shout out the user. And then a P that says, you may close this tab and return to the application. Okay, so option 1, login successful. You may close this tab and return to the application. No clicking on anything that will automatically close the tab. No clicking on anything that will automatically bring the application to the foreground. Option 2 is okay. Hello, Apocalypse. How are you doing on this wonderful Monday? Option 2 is a P with a href equals my cust protocol. Actually, yeah, just this. Click here to return to the application, assuming that clicking, navigating to my custom protocol actually does bring your app to the foreground. So if I had a custom protocol registered called my custprot, clicking on this would have my browser say, this page is trying to launch this specific application. Do you want to allow it? Unless you've already checked the box that says always let it open the page. And then you click on open, and then the application gets pushed to the foreground with the focus. So that's option 2. Option 3 was something that doesn't work or didn't work for a minute and suddenly is working now. That's what I did just before hopping onto the stream. Option 3 is something more like login successful, JavaScript, close and navigate and close, navigate and close. And then click here to close this window and return to the application. Close this tab and return to the application. Okay, so I'm gonna lose all of this stuff when I do this, but it's fine, it'll be fine. Everything's fine, it's fine. I need the console tab. We'll write a function, navigate and close, and that function will be window.open URL will be the custom protocol. Target is self. And no features. Okay, so just that, and then window.close. Okay, so if this actually works, then we're going to lose all of the stuff that we had. So I will go ahead and copy those things. Okay, so click here to close this tab and return to the application. Click here, and it actually closed the tab. What I was getting every other time that I have my, can I describe that? How to describe that? So I wonder if I can just sketch it up. Anyway, so the application launches the browser using process.start at this URL, and then it opens the default browser to that URL, which is the login page with my client ID and my parameters and everything, my PKCE hashed code. And then they log in using that external login. And hello, TBD Gamer. So, user is in some application. They click login, which is up here, launches the browser to the authentication mechanism page. After they log in, that page redirects to the URL that we gave it as the redirect, which is localhost listening on some port, and then question mark, here's all of your credential information. Your code, your verifier code, your whatever else it gives you back for a PKCE auth flow. So then my application has a HTTP listener that says when I receive a message on this port, I want to parse out the query string and get the information, send it to my application to do a HTTP post request to do the token exchange part of the authentication and authorization thingy. But once that's complete and I got my token, my application says bring to front and activate. Did that make sense? So how do I do this in an easy way? Oh, okay, here. So this is Slipstream. If I click login on Slipstream, which is currently playing the music that you hear, opens the browser to the Slipstream login, you log in, you finish, and then what's supposed to happen in my app is the authentication process finishes, they're successfully logged in, the app comes to the foreground and takes the focus. But what happens instead is the application comes to the foreground and the taskbar icon flashes while the browser keeps the focus. And I think it's a Windows mechanism that prevents it from being able to take the focus, called focus stealing. But if that's the case, does anyone have any resources to back up that thought other than a response from ChatGPT that says, yeah, that's what's happening? Because I'll tell you anything. What does steal the focus? Okay, did you build? We'll get back to that. As long as I can get the bot to rebuild, I'll be good to go. We'll be switching back to the financial methods. Everything is just going all crazy because of being hounded up to the wire. It's all going crazy and according to plan. Come on. So like, here would be the example actually. Let's say, I wonder if I can do that. Let's say that this was running in desktop mode. In fact, can we do that? Can we run this in desktop mode? No, I can't, because I didn't create a Maui project that does all of the stuff and things. Dang it. Anyway, if I wanted to give you an example, I would just quickly add the Maui application and have it use the same client functionality as the WASM part of the Blazor application. Because clicking on this would launch the Connect with Twitch in the browser, and then that would finish, and then it should bring the application back to the foreground on redirect to get $code equals blah 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 and verifier equals, and yeah. But anyway, doesn't matter. Bot is up and running. The archery game is now listening. If any of you feel like playing archery, just redeem it. It only costs 1 paw. You just have to cut off a paw and give that to me. Yeah. And if you're Dukasoft, then you make fart noises when you shoot your archery arrows. Archery? Why didn't that work? Spawning player. Oh. Automated realms. Are you offline? You will. Oh, geez. That was a full power fart noise. I don't know why it doesn't play the draw sound on the second and third shots. But anyway, at least you got a 78. We'll debug that some other time. We'll play around with the bot some more later. But right now we have a working game. Someone has issues. We'll add functionality. We'll let you opt into which sound set you want to use. Maybe be able to customize your arrow, the coloring on the head of the arrow, the shaft of the arrow, and the flight of the arrow. Customize the sounds that play when you draw, when you loose, when you hit the target, when your arrow flies over the target, over or under the target, and when you hit the ground. Those are the 5 sounds. Oh, and then there's 2 different draw sounds where if you draw at 90% or more strength, then like for someone like me, set fart volume, you'll get shoot 5 100. That's too much. 3. You get this laser sound, and then for normal sound you get a drawing the bow, and then it was supposed to play the loosing the arrow, which is the film sound, and then when it actually hits the target, it makes that sound. Good effort. Yeah, so all of that is working. I'm gonna leave that running off to the side, like a ponytail you don't really want to have. And we're gonna go back in, because today, what I meant to say is today's a wonderful, fun day. We are journeying back into, easing ourselves back into the main project for this channel. From this day forward, what we're going to do is follow Big Gamey's lead, because he has a really good formula. Mondays and Wednesdays, I will have project streams. Fridays with community days, so those aren't going anywhere, I will work on the bot. That'll be my distracted day stream, or derail, or whatever you want to call it. So I really like Big Gamey's formula. I think we're gonna follow it and do it. So for now, we're getting back into the financial management tracker. Wacka. Is that okay with you? Good. Good. Glad you could agree. Okay, so this can go off over here as well. We don't need you currently. Just hang out. I'm gonna see if automated roams is actually connected. Yes, I am connected to chat and ready to help. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for letting me know. And there we go. All right. I think maybe because there were other things in the graphics card buffer, or whatever it's called, it took a minute before the LLM responded the very first time when Dukasoft redeemed Autry. Oh, I was trying to look at its yogurts thing. Thankfully, he figured it out. What I'm gonna call them they for now, because I don't know what their pronouns are. But what they said is that they figured out the singleton pattern, which I would have expected to see in app.saml, unless they're in a branch. They're not in a branch. What they were concerned with is it looked like it was using 2 different loggers, and I had never actually looked into their project to see what was going on. But I don't think maybe this is the right project, because it's empty. But they found out that they just needed to use a singleton when they injected their logger. So services.add singleton logger. And it was working for them after that. So I'm really, really glad they were able to figure that out. That means we don't need all of these extra tabs that we were using for the bot. Oh, thank goodness. Hey, look, it's TBD bot. I mean, TBD's dot bot. Anyway, did I star this yet? Star. Okay. How to play audio, how to play audio, how to play audio. Yeah, I think that's everything that we need. Okay. So what does the primary application even look like? I don't know if you would find this helpful. RC editor. OAuth authorization. Native apps should only be made through external user agents, primarily the user's browser. Yes. So this was number one thing. This is thank you for finding this. First of all, I do want this so that I can say this is why we are using a browser to sign in. I could never quote what it was that said that you should use a browser and not something like an iframe or the Blazor web view directly to do the sign in. But anyway, that pretty much says it right there. Use an external user agent, not the one that you are trying to do the sign in from or request to sign in from. Use something external. New window, new browser, whatever. Okay, moving on. Documents internet best current practice. Table of contents is further down. Okay. Copyright. National conventions. I can read. Notational conventions, terminology. Overview. Authorization flow for native apps using the browser. Yes, that's definitely what I'm going to want to read. Initiating the authorization request from a native app, receiving the response in a native app, private use URI scheme redirection. This is probably going to tell me not to use localhost on some port. Make sure to use HTTPS scheme. Loopback interface. Yeah, the other thing that I made sure to do is that we have cores turned on my HTTP listener. So it's only able to receive requests from the login domain. So that's most likely in here. Protecting the authorization code. OAuth implicit grant flow. So we are not using implicit. We are using public client with PKCE. Registration of native app. Yeah, I don't need to worry about this stuff because that's happening at the service level that we are enrolled with. Client authentication, impersonation. Yeah, so here's where it's saying localhost or even the other one. What's the other one? 0000. Okay, so yeah, let's start with 4.1. Client app. Authorization code. Token endpoint. Gives us back access code and refresh token. That is skipping a whole bunch of steps. Oh, no, never mind. Because it went down inside of user device. Oh my gosh, this looks beautiful. Client app. My desktop application. First, we send an open the browser request to an endpoint, which means it's going to be a get with a whole bunch of query string parameters that say my client ID, my redirect, my scopes. If you've done any kind of regular OAuth type sign-in stuff, you would recognize the things you put in the query string parameter, but those are the things that we use mostly. And then because we're using PKCE, we have a hashed code that we use. So we create a PKCE code, hash it, or base 64 it, hash it, send that to the server. Then, or no, sorry, not send that to the server, put that in the query string. Browser is at the login page. They do the login stuff, put in your credentials, pick your federated login, whatever type of sign in you're doing that it allows you to do. You do that. That thing says, all right, you are authenticated. Here is the authorization code to your redirect URL. So redirect URL question mark code equals authentication code ampersand verifier and all that stuff. Client app gets that authorization code, uses a HTTP client, does a post request to the token endpoint for the token exchange part, where we give it the authorization code and the code verifier actual code itself, the non-SHA, non-hashed code. This thingy has that, and it says, okay, I hashed it in the same way that you would, and I came up with the same value as the hash value that you gave me initially. And the code that you gave me is a valid code for the client that's doing the request. And then it says, here is your access token and refresh token and expiries for both of them, or for the access token. And we get it back. At this point, right here, authorization code returned. The browser displays a message. So actually, no, it's not even then. Authorization code returned to localhost port, whatever. HTTP listener gets that, sends a response. So there is one more arrow missing, where the client app sends the response, thank you, I got it. You can tell the user this HTML content or this application/JSON content or whatever you feel like feeding it back. And so this is where it says login successful, do stuff. How do we close the browser? How do we go back to the application? So number 3, authentication server issues an authorization code to the redirect URL or URI. Client receives the authorization code from the redirect URI, but that's it. It says nothing about what you should do to that browser session or the application itself, the native app. Wait. Yeah, exactly. It usually, and that's what I'm asking you guys about. Like, what is your experience with it? What would you expect to happen? And so Dukasoft said, usually for me, it just says you can now close this tab and return to the app. It doesn't have a link that you can click on to close the tab for you, because the browser often will say in the console, JavaScript error, you cannot do window.close because you do not own this tab. And then the other question was, do we bring the application to the foreground after this login process? So I guess one of the other applications that does something similar to this is Epic. So if I logged out of my Epic account, then it gives me this in the app itself. And so we don't provide the login mechanism within our application. But what I'm thinking is, if Epic is an Electron app or something like that, this is just some kind of web view that is displaying their sign-in page. And then when you do actually sign in, which I have no idea what my Epic login is. Shouldn't have logged out. Oh my gosh, I don't know what my password is for. Anyway, so you would be able to see that it's still all happening within the applications window itself. Yeah, and that's fine with me because again, we can use JavaScript to do stuff like on window closing or, whatever the event is for your closing this tab. And then that could use something like the custom protocol to bring the app to the foreground and give it focus. But right now what I do is in this picture, we get the authorization code response with the redirect to localhost port, whatever our app is listening on. We listen on one of 4 ports depending on which one is free. So we check for the port. Is it free? Start listening on it. And it's at random too. So we give it that localhost port, whatever we're listening on. And then the client app says, receive the request, raise an event so that anyone that's subscribed to the event on HTTP request received will process that HTTP request. And so for me, that means my client, my API client saying, what endpoint is this trying to go to? What is the query string that came with it? And then can I turn that into my HTTP post to do the token exchange at the actual API endpoint? But once it does that, then in another thread, it says, now create a response to the browser. Otherwise, it would sit there and spin. Create a response to the browser that is a HTML document that says successfully logged in. You may now close this window and return to the app. And that's it. And then the client is like, well, shouldn't it bring the app to the foreground? And I'm like, typically no, but it's what they want. So I'm like, okay, I can make it bring the app to the foreground by using WPF's window. Like you have a main window usually in a WPF application. .show .activate or topmost equals true. Activate topmost equals false. And so that works in dev, but most of the time the Windows API will block the application from becoming the foreground. Like, did you see this? Oh, I didn't mean to click on it. You can't see my taskbar, but Figma was flashing in my taskbar, indicating that it had some action for me to take. It was probably wanting to become the foreground application, but it didn't because the operating system blocked it from becoming the foreground application. That's what's happening on the majority of the machines that have installed our test build. So the application just flashes. And I'm like, this is typical behavior. And I'm trying to convince them of that. I'm trying to find documentation that says this is the recommended approach from Microsoft, or this is the expected behavior in some way, shape, or form. But this thing does not give us that. And so one of the implementations that we did, Dukasoft, who said I'd go for flashing rather than topmost, is because we thought it was just that the application window was behind your topmost application window. That's when we added the topmost equals true, activate, and then topmost equals false, because topmost equals true just means that no matter what you do, that application is going to sit on top of everything else. Think of turning on keep on top for your task manager, which I have turned off, obviously. Oh my gosh, and I can't bring it to the foreground now. Settings. Always on top. Okay, so it would be like this. And that would be annoying for our app because our app is a utility app that the user launches when they want to run diagnostics on their computer. And maybe they want to do other things while they're running diagnostics and they want to be able to get behind it. Maybe they only have one display or they're using that display for other things. Anyway, point is, we toggle it on to bring it to the foreground, toggle it off so that it doesn't stay in the foreground. Yeah, and it never fails to turn it off, so that's a good thing. The thing that does happen though, which happens with any app that does this, is if it goes topmost and it doesn't get the focus, even if you turn topmost off, you could click around behind it and it wouldn't disappear until you actually clicked on it and then clicked behind it. So that just added another annoyance, and I didn't want that at all. So yeah. Anyway, I do want to read through the rest of this. I'm sure this has the information I'm looking for. So thank you so much, Dukasoft, for finding that. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I know how I got it to happen. So while I was loading Figma, I was clicking around on other things. Figma. So if I do that, then now I'm clicking around on these applications here. Figma is still loading and loading and loading. And then once it finished loading, it started flashing at me, which it's not going to do now. Hi, Napalm. Ow, I stepped on a thing. Oof, that hurt. Don't step on a thing. Okay. Ready to start the stream? Let's start today's stream. So we are back in the financial management tracking application, the main project for this stream. What we have done so far is we came up with the project that we wanted to do, and of course that was the financial management tracking application, which you can find here on GitHub. And in order for us to actually decide which project, we came up with some ideas on what types of projects, and then ultimately I just said we're going to do this project. Terrible. So because I wanted this to feel like a client project where we have a client that says, here's a new greenfield project. We want a financial management tracking application. And we're like, okay, so let's do some design. Let's do some brainstorming first. What technologies do we want to use? What database, if any, do we want to use? What should it look like? Here's some scratch paper thoughts on what it could look like. Whiteboard. Once we decided on the technologies and the why are you way down here? Oh my goodness. You're being weird. Once we decided on the technologies that we're using, we're like, how are we going to structure our Blazor multi-platform application? And so I'm like, let's just structure it the way that we structure everything. Where's the blackboard? It's so bright. I wonder if this thing can be changed to a blackboard now. Oh yeah. I tried this before and then I was like, but all of the text needs to be updated now. Because, I mean, it looks better. I'll update that eventually. I probably said that last time too. Anyway, so this is the solution structure that we came up with. And then we decided we're going to use a database. And because I'm a relational database kind of guy and financial management seems like a relational database kind of thing, we went with SQL, and specifically SQL Server Developer Edition. Since we're only doing this locally anyway, you could use whatever database provider you want if you clone the project. because the only thing that matters is using Entity Framework in this case. You just got to tell it which database provider you're using. We designed some of the tables, what we want in those tables, created an ER diagram-ish. And it's kind of funny because Irish John was just talking about UML diagrams recently, like on Thursday. I know it was Thursday because I couldn't hear him at all on Friday. You need Excalidraw in your life. No, I use Figma now for everything, including this part. Yeah, I was using Whiteboard because I already had it installed on the desktop and my mobile studio that has my pen. It's a Wacom product, so I could draw down there. What is paper? Paper would be, I have a camera that's top down that you would actually be able to see me writing on it. But I don't have any extra cameras. I guess I could use my phone for it, but I don't have a phone mount. I could get creative. Anyway, ER diagram with the relations and the one-to-many and many-to-one, blah, 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 blah. Then, after we did database, we thought about some of the UI, like I said. Here's what we want on... People do write on papers. I use it for origami, which I haven't done in a long time. I actually needed to write a letter, a handwritten letter, last week for the first time in 10 years, maybe more. And it was to opt out of a class action settlement. I was like, no. No. Not under those conditions. But anyway, we thought about the UI, so we came up with some ideas of what pages we need, what would be on those pages. If you can read any of my writing, we actually came pretty close to this. We haven't done a calendar page or anything. Then we started sketching out what some of those pages would look like on paper. Yeah, and then we came up with some view models as we were creating these pages. So that was cool. I didn't realize that we created view models too. So once we got the basic idea of these pages, the basic structure of these pages, we hopped into Figma and mocked up the landing page of the UI. And we came up with 3 different styles. Same UI, 3 different styles. The first one is just flat, where everything is flat on the page, even though these are kind of 3D, so it's not really flat. Then we had the neumorphic. Actually, maybe that's what the issue is. Are you not actually the flat kind? Oh, you're not even a component. I probably didn't know how to do components at the time. Or variants is what I meant. But we learned a lot about Figma during this process. Anyway, neumorphic design, where it kind of feels like shrink wrap, or, you know what I mean. I don't know if it's called shrink wrap, but it's the thing that makes a plastic casing in the shape of whatever you put underneath. You do the vacuum seal thing on heated plastic, and then it cools and hardens in that shape. And then the third design was this flat plus dark. And that's kind of what we went with. So from there, we created the payment entry page in all 3 styles, 2 styles, 2 of the 3 styles. And then the list management page, which we came up with later. So the first thing that we did was the landing page. And then once we actually implemented the landing page, we sketched out the main entry page. And then we implemented that. And then we sketched out this list management page, and then we implemented that. So during our development process. And of course, all of these are on YouTube if you want to go back and watch any of the videos that we did in order to get to this point. Everything is vulnerabilities. Why is everything vulnerabilities? Wait. HTML sanitizer. HTML sanitizer. Which version of .NET are you using? I think the application is still only using .NET 7. So I don't want to go beyond .NET 7. Which we will update to .NET 8 on the stream. I've been fighting Linux file permission crap all morning. Thank you, Docker. I got Docker for Windows working. How surprising is that? I got WSL turned on this machine and Docker for Windows. I got an Ubuntu distro installed. I can actually create containers and stuff from Ubuntu to my Docker for Windows. It's really fun. Okay, no more vulnerability. Why do you say we still have vulnerabilities? We do not have vulnerabilities anymore. A? Okay, we're good. We're fine. Everything's good. BUnit has an update. We may as well update BUnit. If you guys don't know BUnit, it is an amazing testing framework for Blazor, built on top of whichever testing framework you prefer. XUnit, NUnit, MS Test, I think it even supports. And even imagine developing without Docker at this point. I use SQL Server, Kafka, and Ocelot with console. So many moving parts, yeah. Absolutely. If you have that many, no, I will not say that anymore. I promised him I wouldn't. That is how I was pronouncing it. I'm okay with just running SQL Server on my local dev machine for all of my projects. Yeah. And what I mean by that is none of these are production sites that people can hit. But when you have that many, like, I really should use it for things like my Rabbit message queue plus my DT search, which I really, really want to know if I can trade that out for Elasticsearch someday. I just have not done any kind of research into Elasticsearch, but pretty much I need something that will index a whole bunch of PDFs, large volume, large sizes, up to maybe 250 to 300 megabyte PDFs with different document types inside of them even. So some of them are portfolios that have images and Excel and all of that stuff. Docker is great for WordPress local dev. Yeah, so that's a skill that you have that I don't do soft using Docker. When I'm streaming different things, having the ability to just bring down one set of containers and keep everything separate is such an advantage. Yeah, I really, really, really want to get more into that and get the benefits from it. That would be nice. That'd be very nice. Okay, anyway, back to the description of the app. So the app, multi-platform, I said. When we created the application, I was thinking I would love to have a web version that you can go to a website and keep working with what you're working on. A desktop version, if you prefer that sort of thing. So like right now, I'm finding it very beneficial to have Figma desktop instead of have Figma open in a browser because I often have multiple tabs in Figma open where I am just wanting them to be in a completely separate app, but sometimes I just pull them out of the browser and put them in their own group of tabs, like this, for example. But then when I alt tab, it's still hard for me to find which one is Figma, which one has my Figma stuff on it. I love innate Elasticsearch. Well, I hate DT search. So if I'm at least able to love and hate another indexing thing, solution, then I'm all for it. DT search is so archaic. And if they haven't updated their website since I last looked at it, then yeah, you can tell that it's someone like me that developed the application. It's really functional. It does what it's supposed to do really, really well. There are some specifics you need to know, like how to structure your terms, your search terms. But, and this is a big but, the documentation is so missing, and there's just no support for it. Here we go. Developer tutorials. This is so old. From Lightning, and it is fast. It's fast, it's reliable, it's accurate. It's just so hard to use. I can't even find the .NET stuff anymore, the stuff that's specific to, web. Anyway, no API, that's what I was trying to say. No API and no like NuGet package for SDK. No API and no SDK. It's terrible. It's terrible. Website development is not their strong point. Yeah, and mine, I mean, like, me, web application development is my strong point. Web design, yeah, who needs API? Who needs to know how to make the correct search call to your application? Oh my goodness. But anyway, we may start working in that again in about 6 months or so. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? I'm trying to open this. Okay. So let's see the app in practice. I talked through a whole bunch of stuff about the app. Oh, and because we made it cross-platform, the way that I did that is I'm using Blazor for all of the UI, and I'm using a WPF app with a Blazor WebView control for desktop, Windows desktop. Oops. Blazor WebView control. That points to my Blazor UI. I'm using a Maui application for Android, iOS, Tizen, also Windows and Mac. So I could do Windows using just the Maui application. And again, that's also using a Blazor WebView, pointing to the same UI. Blazor WebAssembly standalone. This is .NET 7. So we haven't used the .NET 8 template on this yet, but we will. But that is pointing the app to use the app from our Blazor UI, so the exact same user interface. And finally, Blazor Blazor server only version that again points to OBS page content. that points to app from our Blazor UI. So everything uses the same UI. The difference between Blazor Server and Blazor WebAssembly's hosted server is this is an API project that you can do API requests to, but they're dumb APIs. They just pass the request onto the service, to the server-side service. And then the server-only version uses the server-side services directly from the UI. So I don't know what that looks like when we use .NET 8's templates. Yeah, I don't know. But we're going to find out. So let's now see the application in practice. We will cd, and I'm going to run the WebAssembly one. So that is Shift Tab. Yeah, this one. And then server and .NET. .NET Watch. I like doing it through command line because hot reload seems to work better when you use .NET Watch as opposed to Control F5 or full run. Marcus Voice Coder says problems with cascading parameters if you have different render modes in .NET 8 apparently. And cascading parameters is what my I got words. What is it called? My Blazor component library. Drag and drop list uses. So the main parent is the drag and drop container. But because of the different forms that the drag and drop can take, I have the parent in a cascading value, and then everything that is a component of it gets it as a cascading parameter. So that'll be fun. Especially since the actual search itself for something like a SQL search is an object that lives outside of even the drag and drop itself. And so I have that being passed down as a cascading value as well. So long as you don't mix the render modes, you'll be okay. It is possible that we will mix render modes with something like a financial management tracking application. Ooh, we'll see. But thank you so much for the heads up, Marcus, Voice Coder. Because I gotta say your whole name. Anyway, did you start? It did start. Okay, landing page, successful. Do close. Was I talking about this before already? I think I might have been talking about this issue with having the desktop application close the window, close a tab. But let's get that off of our landing page. Blazor UI, index.razor. Go away. Go away. Over. It said heart reload changes applied, but do close is still on the page. Why is it still on the page? Whatever. No, not whatever. I want to show the app, okay? Okay. Oh, right. Speaking of showing the app, so I did mention that all of the process for us doing this entire application, it lives on YouTube. So you can find my YouTube channel there. The videos on there are in a playlist for this project. And I will warn you that it's just my stream, unedited, I take the recording, the VOD, and I push it to YouTube around 24 hours or more after I end the stream. Hot reload at its best. Hot not reload, bless you. So some features about the application. We have a login form. That's it. That's all we got. A login form. It does nothing. We will implement authentication and authorization, but for now it's just sitting there looking pretty. We have information about getting started. These are just going to be different sections on the landing page that explain the application a little bit better with nice graphics and stuff. And then we don't really have any other way to get to the data entry pages, but that would happen as soon as you log in. You will get some menu items that are like track your payments, transfers and deposits, and you click on that. And that takes you to this page, which is your account summary or your payment entry page. I bet StreamerBot is using hot reload. That's terrible. And funny. I wish we could go back to text-based interfaces. Design was so much easier. I don't know about that because I've seen some really, really creative text UI. And I'm going to say it that way. It's text UI. So to get an edge up, you'll have to learn how to do good ASCII art. And yeah. People will still find a way to make it complex and appealing. But yeah, okay. So what does it mean to be a financial management tracking application in our context? For us, it means being able to manually enter in your financial transactions. Those transactions are payments, deposits, and transfers. Payments are moving money from one of your tracked accounts outside to someone else. I'm calling them payees. Deposits are moving money from outside into one of your accounts. I'm calling those deposit reasons. And then transfers are moving money from one of your tracked accounts to another one of your tracked accounts. You just pick from and to and the amount of money. This does not connect to your bank or any of your financial institutions, nor do I have plans to make it do that. The plans that we do have are all written down in our redesign and in our functionality improvement. We'll get to those in a second. The other thing that you can do is manage the list of drop-down values. So throughout these forms, excuse me, I got hiccups. You will see various drop-downs that are populated using database data. I said data. That's completely useless for me as I don't have any money. You can still track that. What did I call it? Cash on hand. So you can track it in cash on hand. There you go, Dukasoft. See, you can be very creative with just console characters. Yeah, being able to import CSV files would be handy. That I think we have that in here. Can you actually search Fig Jams? CSV. CSV? No. Okay, I'll put it on here. Where will I put it? Relocked or something? Oops. Okay. Import CSV. Allow users to import CSV files with transfers, deposits, payments. Okay, so noted. Oh man, what is My everything is doing weird stuff suddenly. Okay. Would be handy indeed. Scaling issues, Jugasoft? Yeah. So your your chat has to be just the right size. This is what it's supposed to look like for any that were curious. And that's what you get. The other thing you can do with this is to see a summary of your transactions for a specific account by clicking on, I thought it was a picture of a keyboard, by clicking, that could be a keyboard, I guess. Yeah, that could still be a keyboard. Anyway, by clicking on the actual account, you get this side drawer that opens with the filtered view of the transaction history table of only the transactions for that account, defaulted to sort by posted date descending, I think. Nope. By transaction date descending. Yes. At least it looks like transaction date descending. But then at the bottom you have all transactions. So we, for the most part, finished. Oh, there is one more functionality. Calculator. We created a calculator that you can move around in the app. You can use your keypad to do calculations and stuff. And I think it works. It looks like it should work. But yeah, calculator. It works. And stuff. At least for basic add and subtract. I hope everything else works. But we, for the most part, finished all of the core functionality of the application as far as being able to enter payments, modify records. I forgot about that. So we can modify any type of transaction, including line items for a given transaction. Create new accounts. And then the only way that you can create new payees is through list edit, which is kind of terrible, but the functionality is there. That's all that mattered. So we have the functionality of everything working, all of the base stuff, all of the core stuff. It's nice, but the more we worked in it, the less I liked the look and feel of the application. I mean, I guess the feel is still pretty good. I would like some animations, with the ability to, of course, turn animations off for people that don't like animated things, or they just want to conserve battery or whatever. Because it does drain battery life to do animations. Not by much, I don't think, but it does nonetheless. So we finished with it. And I was like, it could use a redesign. So let's shift into a new mindset. Let's say we are a new developer coming into an existing project. And so this is what it looks like. And our client says, we want you to improve the design of our site. Make it beautiful, make it usable. I want more features, more accessibility features, for example. Why do these keep getting canceled? This is so weird. TBD Gamer has it right. So what we're going to do is start over from absolutely zero and not reuse any of the existing functionality because the previous developer was obviously terrible. So we can't use any of their stuff. What happened to the other developer? They left and found another job. Great. So anyway, we started playing around with Fig Jam. So this was my first time using Fig Jam. I didn't even know that these are called design files and these are called Fig Jams. I just thought Fig Jam was the name of a Figma file in general. But no, Fig Jams are these boards, and design files are the ones where you're doing all of your UI sketching and prototyping and all of that fun stuff. Marcus said to TBD, that's the case 10 minutes after you've created your app. Seriously. How many times have you like started an app, you got this basic thing done, and you're like, all right, that's cool. Now let's scrap it and start over because everything is a mess. So I agree. Lessons learned. Yeah, it's like, given what I know now, I want to start the app over from scratch. That's the thing I always say in my head. Previous developer was so naive. Never mind that I was the previous developer. It's funny. All right. So, what we did, I guess today was just an overall review of the previous season. Recap, I guess is what they're called. What we did in the Fig Jam is I played around with this AI generate boards stuff, and I said, let's make a plan for doing the UI redesign for Financial Management Tracker. And it gave me these things. And I used most of them, and I kind of treated them as lanes where we spent 15 to 20 minutes on each lane, coming up with responses to these, filling them in. So areas for improvement, the visual hierarchy. So going from our login page or our landing page to the actual payment entry page, with the tabs being on top. I don't know about the tabs being on top. Do they look good? Do they not look good? Needs a redesign. That's all I know, because I don't like how it currently is. The flow of filling out a form to getting to the data grid and the account overview, clicking on an account and having it open in a side drawer. Also, the hierarchy does deal with, again, some accessibility things where do I have the right HTML elements, semantic elements on each of these? Is this a H1? Because this is my page title. So this must be a H1. Is this a H2? Because it's a section title. And actually this page needs a page title, and this should be a H2 for a section title for this part. How would someone with limited visibility navigate to the transactions grid? How would someone without use of hands navigate around a page? So definitely making sure that we have the right ARIA labels and semantic HTML elements. Given what I know now, I'll do the same crap again and again. This is true. It's true, Dukasoft. Guilty. And thank you so much for the follow, Medi01, or is it just medial? You need to use access keys everywhere. That's what I do for myself anyway. Yeah, exactly. So you use essentially the same keyboard shortcuts as someone with the narrator running would, right? So yours is you are not using your hands to manipulate a mouse to type on a keyboard. And so how do you get to this transaction date? How do you get from that to the next field? How do you get from that to add and then back to line item? How do you activate a dropdown? So making sure that we have all of that in consideration. And another thing that isn't as important for this app, because our client is based in America, they're going to have everything stay onshore and not localized. But what we should think about as well is internationalization. Using the right colors for the right country. We don't want to offend countries by using non-offensive colors. I don't know. Using the right symbols for currency, allowing the user to choose what currency they want to use. Yeah, that would that sounds really difficult to me. Oh, and then of course localizing the text. Hey, Deflex. It was really hard to read. Hi, Deflex. It is going well. It is going super well. You ask the person with arms to click the next field. Duh. But even the person with arms might not have use of their arms or hands. So, So anyway, doing all of that, that's a consideration. We need to improve it. The color scheme itself. So maybe I need to come up with, instead of the UI colors, I need to come up with company colors. And thankfully, I already have company colors. This is my color scheme. Purple, a darker purple, white, and black. If you couldn't tell, I really like this color scheme a lot. And in a few years, you have fully ERP system. Heck yeah. So I'm thinking we're going to change to purples. Just because I like Vaporwave, I like purples and stuff. And I like how Dugasoft gave a shout out for Deflex. Deflex has not streamed in a while, but he has streamed before, and when he does, it's a good time. So definitely check him out. Follow him so that you know if he ever does stream again, so that you can catch his stream. Dugasoft, can you time TBD out? He timed me out for no reason on his stream. TBD said, I didn't time you out. I gave Seto the power to do it. So, oh man. I streamed last week just on my main channel. Are we following your main channel? Because I'm following Deflex streams. What's your main channel? Deflex After Dark. Is it on OnlyFans? Okay. Here's an example of access keys. Click. Okay. Good. I'm going to keep this, or do these snippets live for a long time? I'm just going to save it. No, not link. Image. Save image as. This is going to go in live stream, random notes, access keys for non-keyboard mouse users. Cool. Thank you so much for that, Marcus. Voice coder. All right, that's a terrifying thought pick, Amy. No, it's not. I stream doxing myself, so I keep it separate. I mean, doxing stuff. My DJ stuff. Close. It's only Deflex or only Flex. Deflex doesn't stream as his main channel. Got it. I would probably have gotten there eventually, but likely not. You should time TBD out anyway. No, will not. You might be able to convince Dukasoft to, but I will not. I got timed out for what felt like hours. I got a t-shirt out of it though. Nice. Yeah, we are. We're sharing a ban list with Irish John Games. Some streams have a redemption where you can time out other viewers. No, I will not do that. No. You just have to pay off my only mods. I mean, my one mod. Anyone else ever have one of those days where you feel like you are largely just spinning your wheels all last week? Today is one of those days. Where you can use the command modlove. Yeah, not gonna happen then. The mods, the secret is out. That needs to be a thing. Oh man. We should have a Discord channel where if you're a mod on anyone else's stream, you can be in that channel. Call it only mods. And then we'll allow other people in there. Just randomly. Napalm, wait. We read the Napalm thing. TBD Gamers said to Napalm, yeah, every day recently. It's something about the dragon, the year of the dragon. I just know it. All of this chaotic energy. So Deflex Streams posted information in my stream with profanity in it after being told I have a clean language expectation. Yeah, don't do that. So you know my expectation on this stream is just be mindful of others, but use whatever language you use to communicate, because language to me is language, but there are plenty of people that don't like foul language or profanity, so if you can choose other words, then do. Otherwise, just talk how you talk. It's just one of those days. Sounds like a Limp Bizkit song. If I knew the song, I'd be able to sing it for you. I commented out the swear word in it, just for you. And the information requested was requested by TBD. He asked the question. Advert. So, like, I'm thinking I'm just going to spend 3 minutes at 11:30 doing the stop pre-rolls. But why do you have an advert? Did you refresh your window, T-Flex? Because you should only get pre-roll ads, and that's after the first hour of streaming. I don't have ads turned on. Oh, you refreshed. Okay. If you ever need to refresh, may I make the suggestion that instead you... Let's go to twitch.tv/DragonSpiritGames. Instead of refreshing the window, unless you did it on accident, which I understand, or by accident, however you feel like saying it, you can go to advanced and toggle low latency off and on, and that's almost as good as refreshing the browser page. But you won't get an ad, a pre-roll ad. And you can do that in multi-stream as well. Something just changed on Azure. Oh, I quit. Something just changed on Azure Batch when an IAC deploy finished. No idea what that means. And it's broke. You would not be able to sing it on live stream. I wouldn't? Try me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I haven't done it. Oh, I know infrastructure as a code, but I mean, yeah. Anyway, back in my glory days, I used to be able to not bleep out, just mute out curse words when I said them, because like in my family, cursing was one of the worst things that you could do. Don't use foul language. And it's like, but if this situation is calling for these terms to express how I'm truly feeling about the situation and or whatever it is that I'm talking about, then maybe I will use foul language for it. But anyway, really bad. Don't curse. So anyway, what I used to do is say a whole bunch of really bad words and just bleep that out of them on my own. But I don't know if I could keep doing that anymore. That is really hard to do because you still mouth the word and you just kind of got to stop the sound from coming out when you can say it, you know? It's still really hard to do. I have to concentrate a lot on it. Wow, that was really hard. A lot harder than it used to be. And now I'm scratching my head because it's all warm. All the fire went. So I'm sure that I could sing a song that is 90% curse words in that way. That's hilarious. Marcus said on Amazon Music, when people are listening to a song on radio edit version, it's showing the lyrics with the adult version still. Oh my goodness. Napalm said, I curse like a pirate. Big Gamey said, I'm not sure if it's only available to the streamer to confirm. Might be a broadcaster only. Oh, a request? What did I miss? And that was from way up here. Big Gamey said to Dukasoft, I sent a request. And this was on the thread. Are we sharing ban lists with anyone? Oh, okay. Asking for a friend. Yeah. So I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I trust Big Gamey. I trust Irish John Games. Irish John Games will ban people quicker than I would. So I don't feel as bad if it's coming from an external source. I don't personally like censoring people as much, but at the same time, I'm like, I really don't want to be hounded or pestered, especially with specific topics, and you guys know what those topics are. Okay. Did I catch up with everything? Interesting you say that, because in England, I always said by accident, but in this part of Texas, they say on accident. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I default to saying on accident until I start thinking about it too hard. And then I'm like, do I say by accident or on accident? Does it really matter? And apparently it does, because I think about it every time I say it. Deflex said, I'll just write down dictionary are banned from TBD's stream. Deflex, you're poking. TBD dropped it. You should drop it too. Hi, President. Yeah, it's by accident, but lately people are saying on accident. What do you mean lately? I'm pretty sure I've said it all my life. It matters unless you do it by accident. I mean, like, I could rationalize the heck out of it and say, this is what it means to be on accident, and this is what it means to be by accident, but I'm sure everyone gets your meaning. It's a younger people thing. Oh man. Yeah, I think mine was from Kansas. I grew up mostly in Kansas, like since I was 10 years old until, I say mostly in Kansas. That's funny. I've lived outside of Kansas for longer than I've lived in Kansas. I'm old. Anyway, from 10 years old until about 27, 26 years old. Wow. Yeah. I had to think about that some more. But anyway, yes. Found the request but can't do anything. I didn't see the request. Did you send it to me too? Turn around. Let's do a duet. Let's do the never-ending story duet. Just looking through my chat history. Deflex came in. Deflex After Dark. I would probably have gotten there eventually. And then there was the question about sharing ban lists and only mods. Okay, so no, I didn't see the request myself, so it probably wasn't to me. Find it here. Moderation. Incoming request is this. Wait, you don't have access to do anything with that? That's weird. Anyway, approved. Done. All right, so we're gonna finish the whirlwind tour of where we're at. Here are our lanes that we entered information for: enhanced color scheme, optimized layout for mobile. I didn't do mobile first development or anything. We just threw the UI together, said, let's make it functional, and we did. Sound like anyone to you? Maybe someone that I was griping about a little earlier? Anyway, pro tip. So then we went into the next lane and we started talking about the account management page itself. Let's talk about that. How do we revamp it? How do we make it better? Why is this in the redesign? So the redesign for me is the UI, because it is talking about the UI. Right now, the way that you add an account is there's this little wafer that doesn't really look like a plus sign to add an account. I don't really know what I was intending to put there, but it doesn't look like add an account. And then you type in the name, select the account type, where I also want you to be able to create new account types in this list, the date that you open it, and then the starting balance on that date, and click add, and then it'll immediately show up in your list of account balances. Does anyone else want an account while I'm here that we track? We got Marcus Voice Institution. We got Dukasoft's business account, BitGamey's PC pool. Oh yeah. BitGamey. I feel so bad for BitGamey. He ordered a processor. Unbans BitGamey. He ordered a processor, got his processor, and it was bunk. It was bupkis. It was garbage. So he had to send it back. I felt so sad. He was waiting so long for it too. Oh, anyway. If you could not laugh when you tell that story. I don't really have extrovert FE, but that was definitely an FE laugh. It's because I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And there it is again. Replacement will be here sometime from Thursday onwards. It's like that commercial. The repairman said he'd be here sometime between Tuesday at 8 a.m. and Sunday at 9 p.m. Oh, so next year. Well, okay, so that's that. Fill required information, account type, initial balance, click save. So this is the current account management process. This is the improved one. Here's some extra redesign suggestions that, oh yeah, this was the one where we spent like the amount of time filling these in. They're all from me. What I wanted to do eventually, maybe I'll just create a new board, is invite all of you onto one of these to do it together live on stream, to just create design ideas and thoughts so that we could show what it would be like if you're collaborating with a team on some project. So Fig Jams are really cool like that. I actually had a Figma training that was going on today that got interrupted by our stand-up, and then our stand-up went for an hour, and it's supposed to be 15 minutes. Do it together live on stream. Sometimes clips create themselves. Yes, they do. I hope that one turns out really well. I mean, that one gets played a lot. We'll see. Still says awaiting shipment. Kind of like my my gamepad. That thing was awaiting shipment from the Netherlands for 3 weeks. And then it finally shipped. And then it said it will be delivered within 2 weeks from that date. It's like, okay. Shipping by boat, apparently. It's crazy. Someone said ship. Yar! Nice segue. Check out Rise of Piracy on Steam. Irish John Games, friend of the channel. Or hopefully we can call him friends. I hope he thinks of us as a friend. Irish John Games. Definitely give him a follow. He's a solo dev for the most part. He does get a little bit of help every now and then, but not much. Created this amazing game that you see here on screen. And it will be out soon. I don't know which phone just vibrated. Was that a Teams message, an email, a text? No idea. But anyway, you get to captain a fleet. And when you do, you get to choose whether you're just going to do normal bartering and trading, or, oh yes, I will play that in a second, Bikini. I want to see it. Capture islands, or just, set up trade with those islands and stuff. And yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be really fun when it comes out. So when you click that link, it'll take you to the Steam page in a browser. If you're not signed in the browser, which most of us aren't, just click on Open in Steam, which most of us have Steam installed and are logged in Steam. Click on that, and then you'll be able to click on the Add to Wishlist if it's not already in your wishlist. If it is, then don't click that button again. It'll remove it. You don't want to do that. So check out his game. He is being published by Microprose, which is awesome. That started last year, February-ish. That's when we were told about it, I guess. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. Good stuff. One person made all this. Blows my mind. Any of you that do game dev, just double clicked. All right, let's see if we can play this in a browser with sound. Copy. Oh, right. I can't just copy the URL by right clicking on it. Copy. Firefox. You've got sound. Invite all of you on which invite all. Oh, this one. Invite all of you onto one of these to do it together live on stream. Sounds hot. Let's do it. Oh dear. Oh my. Okay, moving on. Filling in more stuff. Simplifying the transaction form. Could we do that? Here's all of the fields that we're currently asking for a payment transaction. Can we remove fields? Can we make it cleaner? So that's a consideration to make on top of all of the other UI improvements. Brainstorming financial account management. Didn't we already do that? Anyway, add ability to edit existing accounts, ability to close an existing account. This all sounds like functionality. Why are you here? Why are you here? You're not talking about UI stuff. brainstorming financial account management, pain point, difficult to know where to go from the landing page. Yeah, so that's UI. There is no sitemap, that's UI. Navigation via narrator, UI. Currently have many issues identified. So another one that Marcus just gave us, the name of is called, what did you call it? Accelerator key. Like, I'm used to calling them accelerator keys from VB6. I'll find it. Maybe it's not gonna let me control F. It's fine. It's fine. I can find it. I can't find it. Okay. Code by voice for. Oh, wait, you sent us a video on how you code by voice. I didn't even see that link. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. We will play that in Firefox so we can hear it through the stream.
Show letters. Escape.
So quiet.
Focus edge. Show letters. Look red. Taskbar mic. Code space dot enter. Word code space dot enter. Please .net. Enter. Word Blazor. Enter. Go right. Backspace. Enter. Enter.
Last minute is probably
Touch.
best.
Current directory. Title Blazor. Undo. Move line green urge. Go
Ooh.
20. Move line red pit. Format code.
Man,
Disk.
you can do some stuff pretty fast.
Go 12. Fresh line. Less than. Tabby. Tabby.
You say tabby.
Disk.
I love that.
Focus edge.
Oh, it is.
Alt trap. Title testing again. Tab enter. Backspace. Tab enter. Show letters. Yank. Show letters. Act Fox. Previous
this
tab.
is so cool.
Page down.
And so
Taskbar urge.
I take it the applications themselves weren't developed with this in mind, right? So does the application that you use to do this use semantic HTML and ARIA tags in a similar way that Narrator does? Access key equals. Okay, so access key. Like, does Microsoft Learn actually use the access key attribute? So like if we wanted to go to sign in, for example, it's not like they have access key sign in or anything. Cool. So it is a Visual Studio Code extension called Cursorless along with Talon Voice. That is so cool. It's something that I'll definitely want to try out as we're doing this because we want to do this the right way. Navigation via voice, e.g. using Talon. Now, is Talon actually Talon, or did it mistranslate what you said? I think it's actually Talon. Cool. Good. Awesome. So we actually have a technology that we can... access keys. Cool. It's free even. Cool. Good. Good, good, good. It's just going to make me an even better developer in the future. Yay. Thank you so much for that. Once again, Marcus. Voice. Coder. Oh yeah. I would have... Wow, that is hilarious. So I learned for the very first time that on FigJam, if you push E and you're collaborating with people, you get a whole bunch of emotes, and then you also get these things called stamps. So like, you're like, yeah, I really, really think we should focus on this. I'm going to +1 that with my stamp. Thank you, Dukasoft, for posting the link to that. So anyway, learning new things about how to use. All right. What else did we talk about? The landing page. We were going to redesign the landing page, core application pages, overview page, transaction dialog, where you can decide whether you're going to add a new transaction with payment, deposit, or transfer. And then the form for submitting. Yeah, those are all good ideas. And what? Weren't you supposed to be in there somewhere? Don't exactly know why these guys got lost, but I'm pretty sure they were supposed to be a part of this somewhere. But I have no idea where. So I'm gonna just delete them. And then for some reason, I couldn't stick to staying with our redesign effort. And I was like, you know what would be cool is if we had a game for the bot where you could redeem it. You show up as a little avatar thing. You show up as a... Hello? Yeah. You still there? Yes. Yes, you are. So it must just be the overlay. Let's try this again. Wow. Are you that jealous, bot? No, you need to come back to me and work on me because I'm not actually working. What the Del Tacos? Anyway, it would be cool if we had an archery game. So let's make a game for the stream, and then I spent 30 streams on that.
About this.
And we talked about how to do it with using only Blazor, no JavaScript, and Blazor and C#, which I did. Okay, but that's it. That's all I got. So we're all caught up. Oh, and then some of the stuff that I put onto here, like you saw up here, some of them are functionality things only. So I put them in their own FigJam file, which are the functionality stuffs. And that's it. That's where we got to. So now we're all caught up. The season has been recapped. We spent this entire episode recapping. I added some artificial pausing in there so that we could spend the whole stream recapping and not doing any actual work on it. But Wednesday, we will definitely start doing the design for our redesigned landing page at minimum. And it's going to be great. It's going to be the best thing ever. You will never have seen anything more gooder than what we're going to do on Wednesday. If you feel like showing up, that is, of course. No pressure, no obligations. But for now, that's the entire stream of time. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I enjoyed hanging out with you and talking with you and learning new things from you. I see a bit baby has started his stream. What are those circular things in the background? Can't remember using them. Which background? My background here or the background on Figma? On the landing page. Oh. So you want to know what these things are? Well, let me tell you a story. Back in 353 BC. I'm not going to tell you that story now. It would take too long. Anyway, gotcha. I think I gotcha. I could be completely missing the mark still, and you were being serious. But that's it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope to see you again. Again, no pressure, but if you come back, I would love to enjoy your company again. And we will go ahead and set up a raid for the one, the only, the Bit Baby. Just because it's so nice to raid him. So easy. You could also hang out on other channels with me. I will be on Dragon Spirit Games. I will be on Setolix or Setolix, however he likes it pronounced. And then later on, or in about 30 minutes, I will be on Irish John stream. But I just had a meeting scheduled for 1 o'clock, which is 30 minutes from now for me. So who knows if I'm actually going to be able to participate in any of the streams or if I will just be working with friends and coworkers. But yeah, that's it for me for now. Feel free to check out the recording of this video on YouTube no sooner than 24 hours after I end this video. Like Friday's video, I didn't post until this morning because I didn't get to it. So as long as it's sometime after 24 hours, it may or may not show up eventually. Okay. You can also feel free to join us on Discord. It's a pretty quiet Discord server with really, really cool people. So enjoy. Ciao for now.